In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Marianne's guests are leaders in their field, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in their own work. They teach others to develop, refocus, and grow. Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. And remember, make every moment count.
Welcome to Moments with Marianne. Today I have a very special guest. Real excited to be talking with her and excited to bring her on the show. We have Jenny Mannion, and she's here to talk with us in regards to her new book, A Short Path to Change. Welcome to the show, Jenny.
Thanks so much for having me, Marianne. I'm really happy to be here.
Yes, thank you. Now, I know your fabulous publishers, Llewellyn, they sent me your book, and I was thinking to myself, oh, my goodness, this is just fabulous. So I just had to have you on the show.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so grateful for them. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. They do lots of good stuff, put a lot of good stuff out in the world. Well, and you know, I kind of wanted to, I know that you've been on quite a journey getting to where you are today, and the journey, like for everyone, the journey constantly continues, you know, so
Absolutely.
I know, we just keep going here, but I know that you yourself have brought yourself through a lot of challenges, and doctors have said one thing or another, and you have basically, you know, with medicine, with the work that you're doing, have gotten yourself to a place where they're just awed and amazed at everything that you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I had a bunch of pretty dire diagnoses and prognoses, and I guess it started with chronic mono. They always found the Epstein-Barr virus in my blood. Then it went to fibromyalgia. Then it was a genetic blood disorder, and they said I was like 500 times more likely to get a blood clot, which I promptly manifested one within like 3 weeks of hearing that, and wound up in the hospital for like 5 days. And then the last one was kind of the most grim. It was a benign hypermobility syndrome, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which that led them to say that I would probably be in a wheelchair and possibly as soon as a year. And that was when I was in my mid to late 30s. So it was a little scary. And as a mom of two kids, yeah, very frightening and disempowering, very disempowering.
Oh, I'm sure. How old were your children at the time that you received this diagnosis?
I was probably about 36, so my daughter was really young. She was probably about 2, and my son was like 6 or 7.
Oh,
so really young kids.
Yeah, when you're just running around after them. My goodness.
Yeah, well, trying. Yeah, it was pretty challenging.
Yeah, I bet. So, you know, I know that you came across a movie, The Secret. It's been out for a little bit, but you came across The Secret, and that really changed and propelled your life in a totally different direction.
It really did, and I think there were probably a couple things that led up to that for me being able to even watch that movie, because a friend had suggested, and it took a year for me to even watch it. I think the first part of my healing really came in. I met a good friend. Actually, we've been friends 10 years now. I met on St. Patrick's Day. And so many times, I think I had just started to really identify with all my diseases, and I thought that I was all of those, and I was a mom and I was a wife. And when I met my friend Angela, she just kind of saw me as Jenny, you know, and saw some really goodness in me. And she was such a light that I think that really got me in a good place, so that I finally did watch the movie The Secret. And there were a couple things that really jumped out at me. One was that we're always recreating cells, so where we put our attention, it made sense to me that that would kind of determine what kind of cells were being made in our body, healthy or sick cells. And I know I spent a lot of time either in doctors' offices with doctors telling me I was sick, or laying around feeling really sick. So I said, okay, well, that's something that I can work on changing the messages. And then the next thing was the gratitude. And when you're sick, it becomes really challenging to be grateful because I had definitely become a victim to my illnesses. I identified with them, and I wasn't grateful that I was even able to, get up every day. So I started turning my attention to gratitude, really watching my self-talk around my illnesses, and especially like in the morning and before bed, just really sending myself positive messages and affirmations. I'm a big believer in affirmations that are believable. I didn't know at the time what I was doing, but I said affirmations like I'm working every day on healing myself, because I think in hindsight, if I would have said I'm healed or I feel all better, I think I would have met a lot of resistance. My body would have been like, no, you're not, so.
Well, and it's a stretch. Yeah, that's a stretch if you haven't been well, and then all of a sudden you're telling yourself I'm getting myself to wellness. You have to take baby steps that work for you.
Yeah, and it was those baby steps, and I think I was amazed. I didn't go into it knowing that I could heal myself totally. I went into it saying, well, this is a new approach. Doctors said to join support groups, which made me more depressed because most of them turned out to be like one-upper parties, pity parties. Oh, my husband left me because I'm sick. Oh, I'm on 12 medications a day. It wasn't really uplifting. So I was like, okay, let me try this. This is different. I had graduated with a BA in psychology. I was like, this kind of makes sense that this would work. And within 3 weeks, I was off of all the medications except for the blood thinner, and I was healthier than I had felt for years. And within a year, I was able to get off the blood thinner, too, with my hematologist's blessing. So, and it's been
that's fabulous.
About 9 years, and now I barely get sick. And when I do, I kind of go to my chakra system and inner diagnostic system to just kind of assess what's off. So I have a really different view of health from where I was.
Well, and when someone is starting on their path and doing the affirmation process, it does take a little while to change that. And I know your book talks quite a bit about this, but to change that thought process and get into a positive mindset. And you actually had a very unique way of handling that for a few days.
Yeah, I did. The gratitude, and just that focusing my attention on, because I was in so much pain, it really felt like I had the flu most days. So to focus like all my attention, even if it was like my little finger that didn't hurt, I'd focus all my attention on that and be like, well, my little finger feels healthy, so there must be healthy cells in my body, and affirming that instead of how I used to wake up, which was, ow, my legs, I'm in so much pain. I wonder if I'm going to be able to get out of bed. I wonder if I'm going to pass out today. Just starting with a much more positive outlook in the morning.
Yeah, and being able to do that. Well, and one of the practices that you used is one that I used when I first started my spiritual path, and I thought that's one thing. Well, you have many things, but one of the things that really resonated with me in your book was using Ho'oponopono. And that I just love that process. And what a fabulous background and story that has, from the doctor healing an entire ward of people, using this ancient Hawaiian process, It
is beautiful. And it's actually the first piece of advice I give my clients to start with. And I always have them start with themselves, because I do believe all healing begins, with us and our loving ourselves, feeling like we're worthy of healing, we're worthy of a good life. And I remember, kind of bawling the first couple of times I did Ho'oponopono for myself. And a lot of my clients kind of say the same thing. It is really powerful to know that we're more than our minds, that are so busy and so self-deprecating. And I love the Eckhart Tolle story where, his moment of awakening was he was debating suicide, and he had that thought, I don't like myself. And he's like, wait, that must be two people then. Who doesn't like myself? And just that realization that, well, what if I decided I did like myself, and that love that we can send to ourselves and be so much kinder to ourselves, it really does begin there. The healing does begin there, and it's challenging for a lot of people. But if we can start to be a little nicer to ourselves, it really is pretty amazing, the transformation that can happen.
Have you found in your process, when you're working with people and just your process, that the forgiveness piece and the self-love piece, forgiveness for others and self-love and forgiveness for ourselves as well, did you feel that was like a real pivotal point and with the people you work with now?
It is a pivotal point because, and then when you start to, I was just talking to a new client today about this, when you start to awaken and realize that your energy has contributed to some of your life situations, it becomes even harder because then we start judging ourselves on that, and when I started to feel better, the first thing I went to was, why didn't I do this 7 years ago? I wasted 7 years of my life being sick. Still, even though I was healing, you still go to that. It's just our default. It's really not good, and that forgiveness of, I could have been a better mom, I could have been a better this, and that judgment, the self-judgment that comes. Forgiveness, there's a reason it's the first chapter in my book. If you can get through that, it's easy sailing after that. It is hard. And the others is really hard because a lot of people do, hold on to wounds, and it becomes something that they identify with, and Ho'oponopono is so beautiful in that way because you're getting beyond the you did this to me, and you're realizing that happy, well-adjusted people don't go around hurting people. So if someone did, do wrong by you, say it was even an abusive situation or something like that, abused people abuse people if they haven't healed that. So going to the Ho'oponopono is so beautiful because you're recognizing that person is human too. You're recognizing your similarities and saying the prayer for them at that soul level.
Well, and it really, the one thing I love about Ho'oponopono is it does bring the responsibility, and not in a negative way, but it really, brings off, there's no victim. It's like if I'm here, then I must be part of what's happening. And so it allows us the power to make those shifts. And if it could be with other people or with ourselves, we kind of want to start with ourselves.
It has to begin with us. Yeah, it really does. As uncomfortable as that is.
It's not like, there's all these jokes about, taking people, someone goes, well, like a husband and wife, and the wife's like, well, I'm fine, but it's my husband that needs to see the psychiatrist, not me.
Yeah, there's two people involved in every relationship. And it's challenging to look at, what we're bringing to the table, too, because we are, culmination, too, of our past wounds, and patterns, behaviors, and really to take ownership of that, and not in that judgmental way, but in that loving and kind way. If we reacted to retreat, in a relationship because someone was overbearing or we were scared to, speak up, in the next relationship we could be repeating that pattern when it's not necessary. So it is really important to start looking at our behaviors and being loving and kind and understanding that there are reasons we defaulted to those, and it's okay. We can decide we want to change them. That's the beautiful part. The self-awareness is so powerful because if we stop with the judgment, and the berating ourselves and actually see it as empowering, it can be, and it can really start to free up our lives in every way.
Yeah, and really, and that negative self-talk, I know on my personal path when I started, that was actually a really tough one for me because, I pretty much had heard it all my life, from teachers, parents, other people, with comments, and it was so ingrained in me. I was so good at it, so it took a while to unwrap that stuff and really, come to a place where it's like, oh, okay, I feel good about me as a person, and I don't have to be responsible for other people's thoughts and actions and what have you. But so
it takes a little while to get there. It really does, and And again, that loving and patience with yourself as you're getting there. Because I was appalled when I started listening to my self-talk, and you don't want to be beating yourself up about beating yourself up either. That really doesn't help the process.
Yeah, that's
be kind and loving and kind of, I try, even now, some stuff will still come up, and I try to shake my head at myself or roll my eyes and be like, oh, right, but I'm still human, It's this again, just in a little different way, okay, and not take ourselves so seriously. And, the more we just spend that time beating ourselves up, of course we're not going to feel empowered. We're going to feel beaten down and unmotivated to be able to change.
Well, and you had many really good points in your book that explain, there's a very practical side on how to really make those shifts, for the self-talk, and you have, they're very simple tools for people to use to make those shifts and start looking at life in a different way.
Thank you, Marianne. That really was my goal was to make it as simple as possible, because I know that we meet resistance so much of humans, and we self-sabotage, and the ego will come in and say we can't change, and there's so much that we have to just contend with, and then our busyness in our lives. The real goal was to just make it as simple as possible, make the tools as simple as possible, because if, I was giving these half-hour exercises, everyone would be like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that, but something as simple as Ho'oponopono, or paying gratitude for yourself for a couple of minutes, or seconds even, just these little tools to do and to be able to pull from the toolbox, at all times. I mean, I still use a lot of the tools in my book. I faced resistance and stuff, becoming the published author and all that brought along with it, and stepping up. And it's just nice to be able to have those tools no matter what we're going through. We're still peeling off layers. We're still discovering ourselves. We're still getting rid of that old stuff. So I do feel it is really powerful. Just have that toolbox, at your disposal at any time.
Well, and so let's talk about your book a little bit. Let's hop into that, because I know we've got some fun things planned for our listeners. You're going to do an exercise that they can follow along and do with as well. That would be helpful. So in your book, I know you have it broken down into 4 sections. Why don't you explain that for our listeners?
Sure. The first section is all about internal house cleaning, so we need to get rid of the old stuff and look at the old stuff before we can create the new. So it has chapters like forgiveness and Ho'oponopono and negative self-talk, also the roles that we identify with. It's important to see ourselves more as ourselves, our soul, our unlimitedness of being, rather than the roles that we take on. The second section is all about the chakra system. I am in love with chakras. I think they are really amazing for our inner diagnostic system. As I mentioned before, I really don't get sick anymore, and when I do feel a little off, I go to the chakra system to say, okay, what's off emotionally in my life right now? What needs to be brought back into balance? So while the Eastern medical system is based on chakras and energy, we really don't incorporate it in the Western medical system, and I think it's pretty easy. I try to break it down really easily to make it, to empower people to bring themselves back into balance. The third section is all about the present moment, so ways to bring yourself into the present moment, like self-love, gratitude, energy work, meditation. And the last section is kind of a combination. It's things that we're going to come across that might throw us off our path, as well as tools to move forward. So that includes tools such as facing self-sabotage and our shadows, but it also includes tools like intention setting, so people can keep moving into and discovering what they want to create in the future.
Well, and what I really liked about your book is, and I think I'm going to just turn here to the heart section, the heart chakra, but you have everything listed as far as the chakras also correlate with different, elements and glands and foods and crystals. And then you have affirmations as well. And I know, you have actually a few affirmations. So we can look at this and be able to do the affirmations and really get to a new place, and then use these other tools to help support us along our journey.
Yeah, thank you. I did really think that was important. Affirmations are important for bringing ourselves back into balance. And also, even reading them, you can read them and actually kind of discover, hey, yeah, that feels a little uncomfortable, maybe I need to work on that area a little bit. So.
Yeah, where you feel that, ooh, then, yeah, that's definitely a place to go and journey some more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness. But we can laugh about it, now. I've gone through a couple of injuries myself, and it is really, like you were saying, at the beginning of the show, it's really tough to get you to, it was tough for me to get myself to a place of, I feel, grateful, and I'm in gratitude today, when, it would take, it'd take me a while just to move,
Absolutely. Yeah, and it is challenging, but the thing with gratitude is the more even when I started really tapping into it, I think in the beginning it was really hard, and maybe I was saying the words a little bit, but then I started to really think about things that I was truly grateful for, like my children, like, that I had a comfy bed to lay in. If I was going to lay down all day, at least I had the comfy bed to lay in.
It could be as simple as that, or a roof over your head.
Absolutely. So, when we do tap into that, it is kind of a magical emotion. I really do feel like it brings in the presence, because you have to be present to be thinking about it. What is okay right now in my life. It brings in that appreciation, and it really brings in love too. So it's just such a powerful emotion. I think it is really kind of the most powerful emotion, and the one that helped me shift the most to health, and the one that just still I fall back on when things aren't maybe going the way I want them to, because as humans we have a lot of this control thing too. We feel like we know how everything should go, so it is really nice to let go once in a while and just be grateful for what we have, instead of putting out that frustration or overwhelm or all the emotions that can creep up sometimes.
Well, in my experience, when I'm operating, or someone's operating from the place of I have to do this, or I need to do this, or you like how you're saying extreme frustration, it really seems to negate the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like, that's not working. And that's why I found your book so helpful, because it really gives simple. It's like a simple, and I'm just going to kind of repeat this again. It's like a really simple tool for people to look at and go, okay, well, regardless of what I believe in, this isn't that far for me to say, as far as the affirmations. Or I can do a meditation and learn how to really quiet my mind, and this isn't that far off from what I'm maybe attempting to do right now, as far as learning a meditation practice or getting in gratitude. They're just the simple steps, and it's like, okay, here we go.
Absolutely, yeah, and it does. It has to be simple for us to want to go back to it. Otherwise our minds will just be like, okay, that's too complicated. Forget it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, on to something else.
So on that note, we're going to pause here for a quick break. We've been speaking with Jenny Mannion, author of A Short Path to Change. We'll be right back.
In 2012, after returning home from Iraq and Afghanistan, Sean Gobin hiked over 2,000 miles of the Appalachian Trail. Recognizing the therapeutic effects of long-distance hiking, Sean founded Warrior Expeditions, a veteran nonprofit therapy program that supports veterans transitioning from their military service by hiking America's national scenic trails. Equipment and supplies are provided, as well as assistance with job placement. For more info or to help support these veterans, visit warriorexpeditions.org.
Internationally recognized and award-winning author Judy Goodman works and teaches outside the box of limited thinking. Working with people from every walk of life, her goal is to empower you to be the best you can be, no matter what the challenge is. Born with the gift of seeing beyond our normal vision, she has an extraordinary gift of working with every challenge. Teaching beyond conventional wisdom, her work is described as life-changing. Visit judygoodman.com. That's judygoodman.com.
Have you ever had the sense that your thoughts might actually be doing something? Ancient secrets of manifesting have been masterfully revealed in the award-winning book Manifesting 1-2-3 by Ken Elliott. For the first time, the author's experiences and stories in this book describe exactly how your thoughts can create anything. You've been doing this all your life, but it's never been fully explained for you until now. Visit manifesting123.com for more information today. Manifesting123.com.
Are you an author looking for publicity for your book? If you're self-published or have worked through a traditional publisher, Marianne Pestana can help you get the media attention you require. Contact Marianne Pestana, literary publicist and host of Moments with Marianne, to create a winning plan of action. Marianne has helped authors become bestsellers and has received highly acclaimed media attention for her clients. Some of her work has received attention from ABC, NBC, CNN, CBS, Fox, and PBS, in addition to print and radio. She's a specialist in utilizing social media and her list of exclusive contacts to further the reach of your work. Contact MariannePestana.com to discuss the future of your work today.
During times of uncertainty, challenges, and change, how do we find a ray of hope to move forward? In Amy Van Adde-Slater's best-selling book, Moments, Magic, Miracles, and Martinis, she offers a torch of inspiration, motivation, mindfulness, and authenticity that illuminates even the most desperate of situations with possibility. Order your copy today to see what the buzz is all about at www.amyvslater.com.
Ben Wexler is a gifted leadership development and strategy consultant for professionals who want to transform their organizations and careers. Through a uniquely personalized set of processes, participants discover their unique knowledge, how to leverage that knowledge and experience, and then put it all together with a global strategy. You're more valuable, your organization is more valuable, and the change is viral. Contact Ben at 630-881-1074, 630-881-1074.
Welcome back to Moments with Marianne. We are here with our special guest, Jenny Mannion. And so, Jenny, I hear that you have a surprise for us today.
Well, I could do an energy, combination energy and gratitude exercise. It will only take like 5-10 minutes. I make them pretty short. And I mean, that's point two is we can tap into these things really quickly. Even as long as I take, once you do this a couple of times, you can make it shorter for yourself, and really, even if, if work is stressful, go into the restroom or close your office door and do one of these exercises and just feel better in a couple of minutes.
Mhm. Well, and that's a real reassuring thing, I think, for a lot of people, especially in today's world where everything is like instant gratification, instant, even the food's fast sometimes, but, but it really makes it so that, it could be adjusted. It's not something that needs to take an hour, or half an hour. It could be really simple, maybe the start of your day, to go ahead and do these things. When do you find is the best time to go ahead and start an exercise?
I think that the two times that helped me heal were the morning when I woke up and at night before bed, because those are times when our subconscious is kind of listening to, because we're in that half awake, half asleep state. So the messages go a little deeper. And honestly, those are the times we're usually fraught with worry or living in the past or living in the future. We're not present at all. We're worried about our day, or we're talking about things in our head that didn't go right that day, or worried about the next day. So instead to send these positive messages, because I know those were the times when I'd start out by saying, oh, I'm in pain. Oh, this really is bad. I feel so horrible. But if we start to turn that around, I love the shower, too, as a time to meditate, because a lot of people, they're not even aware. It's such a habit that we do it that we're so unconscious during it. I mean, I remember being like, did I wash my hair? What am I doing? I'm so busy in my head. But if we take that time, water is so healing. So to imagine the water like washing away the negativity, to say Ho'oponopono in the shower, usually even as if you're a busy mom, usually your kids will leave you alone when you're in the shower. You can take those couple of minutes, and know that you have some peace and quiet and do that. And these are things, I love it because it doesn't take that much time. If we do these things, if you did it just those 3 times a day, in the morning, before bed, and in the shower, you'd see a real big change. Even if you devoted 2 minutes each of those times, you would see a real big change, because we're constantly talking to ourselves. And unfortunately, most of those messages are not positive. They're not present. They're either in the past or in the future. So when we do, I look at it as that other stuff, the past programming, our self-talk is like static on a radio dial. And when we set those intentions, when we get present, we're honing in. We're giving that clear signal to the universe of what we want. And, combination of saying Ho'oponopono, paying gratitude for yourself, for something you've done, and for the way things are in your life. Any of these tools, bringing in energy and letting your body feel like washed with energy and being present with that. Mixing it up. I love mixing it up. I'm not someone that can do the same thing over and over, but whatever suits you. You don't have to do the same thing over and over. No one's going to be judging you except you. So, to be kind of nice to yourself in this process, and if you miss a day, don't beat yourself up. Notice that you missed the day and give yourself credit that you even noticed, that you even care, that you want to make sure you do it that next day. It's these slight changes in the way we're viewing things, but it really makes a big difference, because it is those affirmations that we're giving ourselves. So, we have no problem sitting in something we feel we've done or said wrong. We can sit in that. I mean, some people will sit in that hours, days, weeks, years. But, we don't sit in what we've done right. Maybe you reached out to a friend that day. Maybe you let someone ahead of you in traffic. Maybe you smiled at someone, in a grocery store that wasn't looking happy and made them smile. I mean, we do so many things in a day to help other people or to even help ourselves, take a yoga class. But we never give ourselves credit. Even like 2 seconds of that credit is uncomfortable, whereas we can spend, hours or days or weeks or months or years in that negative stuff. So just switching that up a little bit and giving ourselves credit for the things that we do right, cooking dinner for our family, all the things that we do in a day that are nice, that are helpful for ourselves or someone else.
Now, during, as you're working with people, do you, tell them that sometimes, because I know, birds of a feather kind of flock together kind of thing, so if we're really negative and we have a negative viewpoint, there's a chance that people we hang out with, let's say if it's at work or friends or what have you, are going to be really negative. So how do you, talk to people about, about that, and maybe friends that they have work with them to a certain point, and then and maybe they plateau and they kind of bless them and move on, you know?
Yeah, and it is really important. I love that Jim Rohn quote, we become like the top 5 people we spend the most time around. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we're around that energy all the time, they are going to rub off on us. Of course they are. So I have seen relationships work where someone does begin to change and people around them begin to vibrate at that level too, and are like, hey, what are you doing? You look pretty good. You know, you're seeming happier. And then I've seen people actually get pretty resentful and almost like, you know, why are you doing better? And, you know, they're not ready to change. They're not ready to open up. And it is good to assess who you're spending the most time around. And sometimes it does mean to separate. And if it's a parent or if it's a relative, then maybe just setting healthy boundaries around yourself so you're not just sitting in that negativity. You know, maybe you see them, but after you see them, you have something really fun booked for yourself, you know, or you see a friend that's really going to fill you with positive energy. Just there has to be some kind of balance. If it's someone we need to see, you know, that we can, you know, assessing, is this a relationship that's necessary in my life? Is this feeding my soul in some way? And sometimes you'll have to let people go totally. Sometimes let them go a little bit and not spend as much time around them. And other times, which, you know, we hope people will kind of rise to the occasion and start to be open to. And, you know, you can enjoy that process together.
Yeah. Well, and it's important to know that, I mean, in that process, and I'm sure you probably feel the same way, there's no right or wrong. It's just that, you know, we grow, we get to a new place, and then it's either we resonate or we don't resonate with people anymore. And then, you know, the friends that do end up saying, well, this is not for me because they are in a position that, you know, they want to continue with like gossiping or what have you, then it ends up being where you really attract new people into your life who really support your higher purpose.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's that way, I mean, in my book I go into the influences. It's that way kind of with anything, you know, when we have clutter in our house. It's the same thing. Like, we have stuff there that doesn't serve us, so how are we making room for anything new? You know, we don't have that room. We're giving that strong message to the universe. Sorry, all filled up now, you know. Can't make room for anything. With people, if we have those negative people around us, we're really not making room for those positive people to come in. And it really does begin with us. We have to be vibrating at that high level to attract those people to us. And they're going to fill our lives more with joy and love. And, yeah, I mean, when I started healing, that was a part of my healing is, you know, there were some friendships that fell away a little bit. And I did make room for a bunch of, I love my friends, you know, I love my community, and they do feel like my soul family, you know, and they're people that are very self-aware, and it is really beautiful to have a community like that and to invite those relationships into your life.
Yeah, and, you know, and what a wonderful experience you'll have, you know, making those changes and stepping into that. Well, okay. Well, I think we can kind of hop into our exercise. I'm really excited about this. This is a real treat.
Awesome. Well, I love leading people through these. And, yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm going to, you know, lead you through, but just recognize that this is very short, you know, and you could always make it shorter. So, you know, first I would like you to just get very comfortable, whether you're laying or sitting. You know, just get into a very comfortable space and just kind of notice your breath. If you've been running around or something, just notice if it's fast. You know, just try to bring your attention to it. No judging. Just kind of being in the present moment, being grateful that you're giving yourself this time to kind of tune in and see how you're doing. The way I like to begin every energy exercise is to ask you to take your hands, palms together in front of you, and to rub them together quickly. And you're going to be doing this for maybe like 30 seconds or so. You're going to feel them get warm from the friction. You're going to kind of enjoy that warmth. You can invite a slight smile. on your face as you rub your hands. Smiling itself is so healing, and that has the ability to improve your mood alone in a few seconds. I'd like you to take your hands a few inches apart and just feel that energy coursing through them. The energy is always here. You feel it now because of the intention and due to the awakening your awareness to it. As you feel this energy, I'd like you to tune into it and know that this is a part of you. Keep on smiling because it feels pretty cool. You could play with it. You could move your hands back and forth a little bit. If the energy feeling wanes, you can just rub your hands together again. There's no one judging you. You can rub your hands again and feel that energy. This is all about having fun and just what's comfortable for you. Even if you feel silly, which I did feel silly at first, rubbing my hands and feeling energy, it's a good thing because it has you feeling like a child and smiling and feeling lighter. The energy can feel like warmth, tingles, magnetic connection. Whatever you feel, it's right and appropriate for you. When you feel the energy in your hands, I want you to see if you can move that energy up to your arms, up to your shoulders, and your neck, and your head, and see if you can move it back down to your face, and your neck, and your chest, and your stomach, and down your thighs, and calves, to your feet, and see if you can move it back up again. You can see it like a ball, or even if you just feel it tingling. Just imagine that energy moving back up from your feet to your legs, to your stomach, and settling into your heart. And if you want to put your hands on your heart right now, that's totally fine. If you'd like to leave them out in front of you, that's fine. I'd like you to take some time right now and think about one person or one thing that you are really grateful for. I want you to feel it, every reason, everything you love about that person or thing. If you can see that person or thing in front of you, I want you to bring in every sense. How they look, how you feel when you're around them, if they have a sense that you associate with them. And just really get into that feeling of how much you love this person or this thing. I want you to see yourself paying thanks, paying gratitude for having that in your life. And if it's a person, I want you to see them receiving that gratitude and how happy it makes them for them to hear your words. I want you to give thanks again. And now I want you to turn that attention to yourself. You can feel your heart beating and the energy. And I want you to thank yourself for something that you like about yourself. It could be that you're a good friend. It could be that you're a good cook. You'd love to laugh. You love to dance. Whatever it is, you like to really be a good friend and listen to your friends. Whatever it is, there's something really special about you. There's something really special in all of us. And I want you to give yourself thanks for that right now. And you feel that energy in your heart and feel that your soul is thanking you for taking this moment to appreciate yourself. I want you to take a couple of breaths and to thank your body for awakening to this awareness and healing. You can play with this energy at any time, even for a few minutes or seconds. You can bring it to whatever part of you is experiencing maybe a little discomfort and just shine some light on it. Remember to smile. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
How lovely is that?
Thanks. Didn't take that long.
No, I kind of wanted to stay in there, though, just in this deep place, just having this meditation, this walk, it was just such a peaceful, nice walk that we just went through. Oh, that's fabulous. So when you're doing, I understand you have, healing sessions, and you also offer, basically like a free consultation that you'll do with people, and you have wellness package programs, and you do all these other things. So when you're, let's say you're doing a healing session with somebody, is this what you kind of do with them? Do you walk them through this?
No,
what do those look like?
I do an energy session. I have actually about 80% of my clients are distance and about 20% in my office. So it looks a little different in person or in the office. In person, I do like to take people through feeling their own energy body first, and then I will have them lay down on my massage table and close their eyes, and I will do an energy session with them. I will, walk around the table and access their energy body and just look for anything that seems a little, out of balance. And I never look at it like I'm healing someone. I always look at it as we are all self-healing. We get a cut and we heal because we're not worried about it and obsessed with it, and we're not putting all energy towards it not healing. And so I look at it like tuning into that frequency is kind of an awakening. When I do a distance healing, I actually talk to the person a little while. Usually, I don't have to, but usually I do. And then we disconnect the phone and I have them lay down and do a distance session. And they have the same experiences. I actually have a lot of late-stage cancer clients, so I have seen people in my practice heal from cancer and MS and depression and anxiety. And, I just look at it as this is energy. Sometimes our body needs a little jump start, catalyst to remember how to heal itself. And I love working with people. I do talk with people a lot about the things we've been talking about, kind of try to tune into what is out of balance in their life. Again, I will go to the chakra system to kind of tell me, today I had someone, for example, that had thyroid problems, so I know to look at the fifth chakra and issues that are around that, such as speaking your truth or not expressing your creativity. So I'll work with people on the intuitive level, too, to just see what they can bring back into balance. And, again, I never look at it like I'm healing someone. I'm offering them tools so that they can bring themselves back into balance.
Well,
and then some of the other work I do. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm saying that's evident by your book as well, It really is. I mean, you carry the same principle in your healing sessions that you do in your book.
Yes. Yeah, I do believe in just empowering other people. This is all about our own process. And it was interesting when I first took reconnective healing. I'd heard this story about husband and wife that came in. The wife had been chronically ill for a long time. The wife gets on the table, has a session, and she came in a wheelchair, and she had dramatic healing during, and she steps off of the table, and, the husband is amazed, and they had been having problems, and she had gotten sick, right when they were having problems, and he stayed with her, and when she saw his expression on her face, suddenly she sat back in the wheelchair and couldn't move again. So, I believe in, illness serves us sometimes, so I really do feel in working at that emotional level, we're ensuring lasting change. We're not just healing the physical. It's not like a drug where you're numbing out a symptom. You're really going to that inner level so we can heal ourselves.
And really working with the energy to figure out, okay, what's out of balance and what can I do to, really, as you're saying, heal it. Maybe there's unforgiveness. And, it was interesting. I went through this at the end of last year. I ended up getting pretty sick, and it was because I had unforgiveness towards myself. And I'm like, oh.
That'll happen, yep.
Yeah, that'll come up and get you.
And, you've been on this journey, so, you see that, even though we feel like, okay, haven't I learned that lesson already? There will be other things that come up and trigger us. The nice thing is when we have this awareness, the tough times will be shorter and they'll be farther and fewer between. So, and then kinder we are to ourselves in this process, and the more we're open to discovering, well, why? You must have looked at that. Why am I sick? Why has this come up? To discover that, when you discover the unforgiveness, you can work with that. So not judging yourself on that, but knowing, being as kind as you would. I'd use this analogy a lot too, like being as kind as you would to a friend that came to you with a problem, saying, I'm having trouble forgiving myself on this. You would throw your arms around them and say, that's no big deal, you can get over that. You give them 5 different ways it's going to work out fine or whatever. But when it's ourselves, we hit a wall. We are so harsh with ourselves.
We're our own worst critic in many ways. In many, many ways, yeah. So, well, I think if you're up for it, I think we have time for one more exercise.
I could do that. Yeah, we could.
Ooh, okay. I'm just loving this up,
Good one. All right, well, we could start out with you closing your eyes, and I always love the rubbing your hands together to just get in that energetic space and start feeling that energy, and taking a breath and just getting silent and present. And when you're ready, you can either hold your hands on your lap or close together so you can feel the energy. You can take a few seconds and bring that energy up your arms, to your shoulders, to your neck and head, back down to your face. Feel it warm. Invite that smile in to your heart and stomach, down your thighs, calves, ankles, and feet. You could even stop and feel it in your toes. Allow that energy to come back up your feet, your calves, your thighs, your stomach, and settle back again into your heart. I'd like you to think about 2 things before we begin this. I'd like you to think about a person that you feel tremendous love for, a friend, a spouse, a child, a family member, or anyone else that when you think of them, your heart grows warm. Next, I'd like you to think about something that you give yourself a hard time about or beat yourself up about. Maybe it's been a struggle with weight loss or procrastination or finding financial stability, a relationship issue. I'm sure that you know one issue that you give yourself a hard time on. You choose one challenge. You to feel that energy in your heart, and now imagine that loved one whom you picked. Feel what it's like when they're around you, you're speaking with them. Engage your senses and truly feel like that person is with you. Feel the love you feel for each other. See them in your mind's eye. If they bring that scent to memory, you can engage that as well. The more you can feel that you're actually with them, the better. Now I want you to imagine that your loved one is approaching you about the same issue that you chose, the one that you've been giving yourself a hard time about. Your loved one is coming to you for your love and advice about this same issue that they now have as their own. I want you to picture yourself giving your loved one advice from your heart. When we love someone truly, we're able to be non-judgmental. We know their challenge is not as bad as it seems, and we're able to comfort them and show them love and support. Now I'd like you to apply this advice to your own situation. It can help you rise above the challenge a bit and put your challenging issue into a more manageable perspective. Now I'd like you to feel the love that the loved one gives you for your advice and for you being there for them. You always have this ability to give that same love and gratitude to yourself. I want you to see the loved one giving you a hug and and feel that love between the two of you. Feel how grateful they are that you took your time and energy to help them. I'd like you to give yourself gratitude for taking this time to connect with the unconditional love that you do have for yourself, and know that you can return to this for any challenge that you're feeling at any moment. It only takes a few minutes. Give yourself a nice inner hug, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
That was perfect.
Good.
Well,
yes.
I know I'm going to be doing this, and I'm sure our listeners are too. Everyone's going to be signing up for a healing session with you. Oh my goodness, that was very delicious. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Marianne. Yeah, it's so much fun to be here, and I do love. I love just showing people that life doesn't have to be as hard as we make it. You know, we can take these little moments to really shift things. And, you know, in the beginning it might take a little practice, especially if we've been hard on ourselves for decades. You know, we'll meet a little resistance along the way. But if we're kind and loving to ourselves in that process, it will go a lot faster. And it gets easier to be kind and loving to yourself as you do this more. Yeah. That is very, very true. And, you know, just like anything, you know, we can't expect to run a mile or 10 miles or maybe like hike one of the 14ers if, you know, we're not getting out there and practicing. And with that positive mindset, it's a practice as well, you know, just like we would with any other exercise we would do. So. Absolutely. It's so worth it. It's worth it. It's you know, it's to tap into the unlimitedness of you. I mean, there's nothing more important than that, really. Well, you win. It's a win-win. Yeah. I think that's probably the true definition of a win-win. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, thank you so much for being on the show today and spending this time with us and going over these exercises and talking about your book. We want to make sure that everyone, you know, orders your book, Short Path to Change. And also visit your website. We want them to visit your website and, you know, sign up for your newsletter and also see about, I know you offer a complimentary, you know, consultation, and you have sessions, and you've got also, and on top of this is actually pretty exciting, you're a Huffington Post contributor. I am. That's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, I love writing, so it's, you know, it's always good to. And the articles I write usually do have exercises in them as well, because I do believe in just giving a lot of tools. I can never have enough tools, so I like giving those to other people as well. Oh, for sure. Well, hey, whatever you're doing, and we've got the little roadmap now with your book, but what you're doing works. You know? Thanks. Yeah, my life's definitely very different than it was, you know, say 10 years ago. So, you know, went from chronic disease and pain to feeling great every day, and went from a relationship that wasn't so great to a relationship of my dreams and good people all around me. And yeah, I mean, everything, a career, published book. I mean, everyone has gifts to offer the world. So, I mean, it is in healing ourselves first and just knowing that self-worth that we can bring that out, you know, and show everyone what our gifts are, and help people and help ourselves first, though. Well, dear, I'd like to thank you again for being on the show with us today. We really do appreciate you taking the time. Thanks so much, Marianne. It's been a lot of fun. It definitely has, and we'll have to have you back on the show, you know, for sure. I mean, I could do these exercises with you all day long. So. Thanks. Yeah. Everyone will be buzzing. That's a good thing. Oh, my goodness. I already am. And then for all of our listeners out there today, I'd like to thank you for tuning in with us today. And remember, make every moment count.
Join us next time for Moments with Marianne, when host Marianne Pestana brings another inspirational gifted leader to help us grow. Tune in every second Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Moments with Marianne, when the Dream Vision 7 radio network is at 1510 a.m. Boston. Or catch Moments with Marianne every Thursday and Friday at 5 p.m. and 5 a.m. Eastern Time by going to dreamvision7radio.com. To learn how Marianne started her business from the ground up, visit mariannepestana.com. Don't miss this. And remember, make every moment count.